Today, we're diving into an issue where the stakes are literally life and death, the fight for press freedom in Pakistan.
Think about that for a second. It's not a metaphor. It's a very real warning that echoes in newsrooms across the country. It's the ultimate form of censorship.
And for the journalists working there, this isn't just some abstract concept. It's their daily reality. Trying to do their job means confronting real threats to their own safety day in and day out. So, to really get a grip on just how big this problem is, we've got to start by looking at the numbers and the very real dangers journalists are up against. 90. Just let that number sink in. According to UNESCO, that's how many journalists were killed in Pakistan in the 20 years between 2002 and 2022. That's an average of more than 4 people losing their lives every single year just for doing their job. And murder, believe it or not, is just the tip of the iceberg. The daily threats create this constant state of siege. We're talking about everything from abductions and physical attacks to being locked up without cause and relentless harassment, both online and on the streets. And what's maybe even more worrying is the direction things are heading. This isn't a problem that's getting better. Just look at the World Press Freedom Index. Pakistan has been slipping consistently from 139th in the world back in 2017 down to 152nd in 2024. The environment for journalism is actively getting worse, and the projection for 2025 shows it falling even further. Now, you have to understand, this constant danger doesn't just affect one person at a time. It has this huge ripple effect that can silence an entire country's media. Let's talk about what that looks like. And if you want to know why this cycle of violence just keeps going, it all comes down to one word: impunity. It's a simple idea, really. It means getting away with it. It means when a journalist is attacked or killed, the people who did it face no consequences. And the scale of this is, well, it's staggering. A study by the Freedom Network looked at a decade of these killings, from 2012 to 2022. 96% of them unresolved. Only 4% saw any kind of justice. I mean, what kind of message does that send when you know there's almost no chance you'll ever be held accountable for murder? Well, that message leads to something called the chilling effect, and it's exactly what it sounds like. When journalists see their colleagues getting attacked or worse, with zero consequences for the attacker, they start to think twice. They pull back. They start avoiding the tough subjects, corruption, human rights abuses. And so the most important stories go untold, not because of some official censor, but because of fear. So the big question is, who's behind all this? Well, according to the International Press Institute, the answer is pretty shocking. They found that between late 2022 and early 2023, state actors, we're talking police, government officials, were allegedly behind the vast majority of these violations. So think about that. Who are you supposed to turn to for help when the threat is coming from the very people who are meant to protect you?
Okay, so with this crisis getting worse, there was a big push to do something about it, to find a legal solution. So let's look at the laws that actually got made.
And 2021 was a huge year for this. After years, even decades of people fighting for this, protection bills finally got introduced. And by November, the federal government had passed a national law specifically to protect media professionals. On paper, this looked like a massive win. And these weren't just simple laws, they're actually pretty comprehensive, built on this UN framework called the 3 Ps. The idea is the state has a duty to prevent violence, to protect journalists, and to prosecute anyone who commits crimes against them. It really seems to cover all the bases. Right. So the laws are on the books, the framework is there. But here's the real question. What happens when those promises meet the harsh reality on the ground? Listen to this. This is from Asad Ali Tor, a journalist who was viciously attacked in his own home. And get this, it happened less than a week after those protection bills were introduced. For him, the attack sent a clear message. Some powerful people just don't care about these laws. And he's not alone in feeling that way. Another journalist, Bilal Faruqi, basically said the same thing. His point is, what good is a law on a piece of paper if powerful people can just ignore it with a single phone call? It highlights this massive gap between what the law says and what power can actually do. And all of this brings us to something that goes beyond the physical danger, beyond the stats and the laws. What's the unseen cost of doing this work? This is from a reporter named Raja Cameron, and he's talking about what happened after he witnessed a violent shooting. He says he suffered from PTSD, couldn't sleep in the dark, and had to rely on medication. This isn't just about job stress. This is deep
psychological trauma. It's the hidden price that reporters pay to bring us the truth.
So after all this, where do we stand? Well, on one hand, we have laws that now exist. They offer an explicit promise of safety. A framework for protection is actually there. But, and this is the crucial part, a promise isn't protection. As the experiences of these journalists make painfully clear, a law on paper doesn't stop a fist. It doesn't stop a threat. It doesn't stop a bullet. And that brings us to the final question we have to ask ourselves. Because this whole thing, it's not just about the safety of journalists. It's really about the health of an entire society. When impunity is the rule, when the people who attack the truth get away with it, and the people who report it live in constant fear, what is the future of truth itself?